The first snow of winter fell like broken glass from a grey sky. Gerda pressed her hand to the frosted window, watching the flakes scatter against the glass as if trying to claw their way inside. She had not slept in nights. Her dreams were haunted by Kay, his laughter echoing in her mind, his smile lingering like a flame refusing to die out. Kay had been her companion since childhood. They had shared stories under oak trees, whispered secrets in candlelight, and carved promises into the bark of the old willow by the river. But that was before the coldness had crept into him. It was not the cold of weather but of spirit, as though his heart had turned to ice. He had vanished one bitter night, his tracks swallowed by the storm, leaving Gerda with nothing but silence and an ache that burned hotter than fire. Whispers in the village said he had been taken by the Snow Queen, a figure half feared, half revered, a woman of blinding beauty who ruled the north with a crown of frozen stars. Some claimed she stole hearts to add to her frozen throne. Others believed she saved souls from the pain of love by turning them numb forever. Gerda did not care which was true. She only knew she would not abandon Kay. So, on the coldest morning of the year, Gerda wrapped herself in her red cloak, kissed her grandmother's trembling hands goodbye, and stepped into the white wilderness where the Snow Queen's shadow stretched long and merciless. Main conflict. Gerda's journey was not through snow alone but through her own heart. At first, she believed her quest would be simple: find Kay, warm him with her love, and lead him home. But the snow has a way of reflecting one's own fears, and soon she found herself lost not only in the endless whiteness but in her own thoughts. On the third night, she came across a woman living alone in a hut. The woman's voice was sweet, her fire bright, and her words tempting. "Stay with me, child," she whispered. "Why wander through storms for someone who has chosen another path? Perhaps Kay does not want to be found." The thought cut deep. Gerda had wondered the same in her darkest hours. Had Kay gone willingly? Did he prefer the Snow Queen's world of glittering perfection over their small, imperfect love? For a moment, Gerda wanted to surrender, to sink into warmth and forget. But then she remembered the willow tree, the words Kay had once carved into the bark, always together. Her heart hardened, not with ice but with resolve. She thanked the woman and pressed on, though the memory of that temptation would gnaw at her in every step forward. As the land grew harsher, Gerda encountered a band of thieves. Their leader, a wild-eyed girl, laughed when Gerda pleaded for help. "Do you think love is worth freezing for?" she mocked. "People betray, people forget. Love is a cage you lock yourself in." Gerda's lips trembled, but she answered with a quiet strength. "Maybe love is a cage. But if Kay is trapped inside it, then I want to be there too." Something in her words softened the girl's cruelty. She lent Gerda a reindeer, swift and strong, that carried her further north until the stars themselves seemed frozen in place. At last, Gerda reached the Snow Queen's palace, a fortress of crystal rising from the heart of a glacier. The air itself cut like knives. The halls glittered with shards of ice shaped into mirrors, each reflecting not truth but distortion. In one, Gerda saw herself as weak; in another, she saw Kay laughing in the Snow Queen's arms; in another still, she saw herself forgotten, standing forever alone. Her chest ached, and she nearly turned back. But then she heard it, a faint, hollow sound like the echo of a heartbeat. Kay's. She followed the sound through endless corridors until she found him in the throne room. He sat at the queen's feet, his face pale, his eyes empty, his hands assembling fragments of ice into patterns only he could see. The queen watched with a serene smile, her gown flowing like a river of snow, her crown glowing with the light of frozen stars. "Kay," Gerda whispered, stepping forward. But Kay did not look at her. His gaze was fixed on the shards. The queen spoke instead, her voice smooth and cold. "He does not know you, child. His heart belongs to the snow now. See how peaceful he is, how free of pain. Why drag him back into the world of grief and loss?" Gerda's breath caught. The queen's words were cruel, yet they carried truth. Kay's face was calm, untouched by the storms of love and fear. Perhaps he was happier here. Perhaps Gerda's fight was selfish. Her heart quivered, torn between letting him stay and pulling him back. She knelt before him, tears spilling onto the ice. "Kay," she whispered again, "if you have forgotten me, then I will remember for both of us. If you no longer love me, then I will carry the love for us both. Always together, remember." Her tears fell onto his hands. For a moment, nothing happened. The queen's smile widened, certain of her victory. Then one of the frozen shards slipped from Kay's grasp and shattered. His fingers trembled. His eyes flickered, not fully awake but touched by a spark. Gerda pressed her forehead against his, her sobs filling the hollow palace. "Please, Kay. Come back to me." A silence followed, heavy as snowfall. Then Kay's lips parted. "Gerda." His voice was faint, raw, like the first crack in winter ice. The Snow Queen's expression froze into fury. A storm whipped through the throne room, shards of ice swirling like blades. "Foolish girl," she hissed. "Do you think love can defeat eternity?" But Kay's arms wrapped around Gerda, shielding her. And in that embrace, warmth spread, not just between them but through the palace itself. The mirrors shattered, the storm faltered, and the queen's form began to blur into mist, as though her power could not exist where love still lived. Conclusion. Gerda and Kay staggered out of the palace, holding each other, the reindeer waiting as if it had known they would return. Behind them, the queen's fortress melted into silence, leaving only the endless snow. Their journey home was slow, filled with exhaustion and silence, but it was not the silence of despair. It was the silence of two hearts relearning how to beat together. Yet Gerda could not forget the queen's words. Was Kay truly free now, or had she only dragged him back into the pain of being human? She did not know. And Kay, though grateful and tender, often stared at the horizon as if searching for something he had left behind. Perhaps the Snow Queen had not been entirely defeated. Perhaps she lived still, not in her palace but in the corners of memory, in the temptation of numbness, in the shadows of every broken heart. And so the story did not end with triumph but with a question: is love worth the suffering it brings, or is it the very suffering that makes it real? As Gerda and Kay walked hand in hand beneath the thawing sky, the world itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for their answer.